This is CBS 2 News at 10.
Good evening. We do follow with our developing news. We have followed for you all day, starting as breaking news early this morning. And tonight, law enforcement across the state still looking for two men, an escaped convicted criminal and the man who helped him escape, shooting officers in the process in Boise. Here's that escaped inmate, 31-year-old Skylar Wade Mead. He has a shaved head, hazel eyes. He's 5'6", weighs about 150 pounds. Last seen, he was just wearing shorts. Some of his tattoos, a teardrop and the number 1 under his left eye, the number 11 under his right, a clown or skull face here on his chest, a star on his left leg, then a chest piece that says product of my enforcement, and then the letters A and K on his stomach. His accomplice, now we know as Nicholas Umphenor, officers say that he is an imminent and credible threat to law enforcement and the public because they say he was the one that shot the officers. The two last seen driving a gray Honda Civic. This guy's nickname, they say, is also Moose. Both men considered armed and dangerous. So if you see them or you know where they are, don't approach them or talk to them. Call 911 right away. Now, here's what police say happened during the ambush at St. Alphonsus in Boise around 2:15 this morning. IDOC officers take Mead there to St. Alphonsus for medical treatment after suicidal behavior. While preparing to take him back, Umphenor then attacks and shoots at them, hitting two. Mead and then Umphenor then take off in a gray 4-door sedan before Boise police can show up. One of those responding officers shoots an IDOC officer, not realizing he was in uniform, saying he only saw his gun. Luckily, he wasn't seriously wounded. The other officer shot, right now we know one at last check was in critical condition, the other in serious condition.
Issued a blue alert with the intention of providing as much information as we could as quickly as possible, because Mead and the shooting suspect and anybody else who may be involved in this obviously brazen attempt to get Mead out of custody. They are dangerous, they are armed, and they have shown a propensity for violence.
I would call it unprecedented and unthinkable, but I think, you know, we're certainly, as part of routine policy and practice, you know, we'll have a number of after action reports, and we'll do everything we can to try to learn from this event. But for today, you know, our hearts are with our staff and everybody who was involved, and our attention is put towards apprehending those who were responsible.
Boise police lead that search. The Ada County Critical Action Task Force looking into that cop shooting the IDOC officer, as is usual when an officer shoots at his gun or her gun. The hospital is functioning normally with extra security. We'll keep you updated if anything else comes in. There's another look at the car they do think the men are out in. Napa police still searching for that missing 12-year-old girl, and they do have a request for some of you who live in Napa. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, here's another look at Peyton Avery Murrieta. She has brown eyes, red dyed hair. She's 5'5", weighs about 125 pounds. Her family not seen her since Friday. They worry she's with an adult stranger she met online. If you see her, you've seen her, you have any idea where she is, call police. We've also posted her pictures on our social media pages and on our website so you can share them with your friends and followers and family in hopes maybe someone there has seen her. Now, what's new tonight is this map. Take a look. Napa police want any video footage from cameras in this area, North Midland and West Sonata Street, between midnight and 6 Friday morning. That is what they are wanting to get. They want to look for any cars in the area, people waiting in a car, people walking around. They just want to see any video you might have taken, or maybe your security cameras took in that area in those hours. Go to idahonews.com for how to get your video to the department. At the State House today, a lot of people testifying against a bill keeping certain materials from kids in schools and public libraries. Senator Cindy Carlson from Riggins presenting this to the Senate State Affairs Committee. If enacted, a parent could raise a concern about a book, then it would be relocated to an adult section of the library. Those opposing the bill say it'll cost too much money and time and be hard to keep up. Some say a lot of libraries don't even have an adult section, and libraries could face fines if they don't follow the rules.
You can vote to lock up books, or you can vote to respect and even celebrate a community that is made up of a wide range of voices.
Please don't turn Idaho into a state where one has to show proof of age not only to buy beer, but also to check out books.
A member from the Idaho Family Policy Center delivering the petition with over 2,000 signatures in support of the bill. The committee chair voting to continue this discussion later. We'll let you know if the bill moves forward. Remember quagga mussels taking over the Snake River last fall? They forced part of it to close down, and there was that long treatment to get rid of them. Well, today, the governor is signing a bill into law in hopes that that doesn't ever happen again, providing $6.6 million for the State Department of Agriculture to use to fight quagga mussels. They're a big concern because you may remember they can clog drain pipes for drinking water or irrigation, and they just cover things they get to, even hulls of boats.
Invasive species are just a fact of life, and they're going to continue. And all the legislators that are in the room that help with this are basically doing the defense and offense to protect Idaho agriculture, Idaho recreation, and Idaho waters.
The governor actually prompting this, asking for the money. $5 million is the one-time request. The rest, $1.6 million, will be ongoing. The money will help pay for 2 full-timers, 18 temporary positions, also for more water sampling and wash stations to wash the boats to make sure no quagga mussels move around. The Boise State Broncos falling, both the men and women's teams. The Bronco men to the Colorado University Buffaloes, 53-60. This was in an NCAA tournament in Ohio. The women's team falling to Montana, 92-66 in the first round of the Women's National Invitational Tournament.
What you're looking at right now is something that we have not seen in a long time in western Idaho. Those are clouds. They're starting to move in, indicating that the high pressure is finally weakening. And yes, this is a cold front that's going to slide by for the most part to the north of us through the night tonight. But it's not just this front. There's additional fronts that are lining up out there in the Pacific Ocean that will help to ultimately change our pattern and get us more into a springtime scenario. 44 degrees will be the temperature reading in the morning, 59 degrees at lunchtime in the afternoon. No longer seeing temperatures in the 70s. We're going down into the low 60s. And I do want to emphasize that as the front passes by to the north, there may be a few showers down around Valley County, and we may see a little sprinkle here in the Treasure Valley just prior to or around that morning commute. But again, this is just the beginning. We'll talk more about what we can expect with the 7-day forecast in just a few.
These warmer temperatures, they're fun for us down here in the valley, but in the mountains, they really increase the risk for avalanches. Here's a look at a recent slide near Galena Summit from the Sawtooth Avalanche Center. Skiers and snowmobilers, make sure to avoid the sunny, rocky slopes. That's where avalanches can be more likely. And if you're just a snow lover heading out to enjoy it, pay attention to what's above you. Avoid steep slopes sinking into the mushy snowpack. Now, ski resorts are prepping to wrap up their seasons. Bocas Basin and Brundage close April 14th. Tamarack doesn't have a set date yet, but it will be coming up. Soldier Mountain closes Saturday. Local students gaining skills and supporting foster kids. Savannah Hankard shows you how these kids all empower each other.
Elevate Academy teamed up with CASA, court-appointed special advocates, for their community carnival this March.
I knew that they would have the passion and the drive and the creativity to make something really beautiful.
CASA helps give kids in the foster care system advocates, and this carnival was a way to support that community. The organizer of the carnival said her favorite part about CASA and teaming with Elevate are the people.
Their passion and drive is to help our youth and help them become happier, better individuals.
After seeing some of the products Elevate students were making, CASA went to various departments and proposed their ideas to the teens.
Originally, I just asked them to spell out the word CASA. In my mind, we wanted to have decoration for the tables, and it was actually their idea to add the logo, and so this actually came out far better than what I was ever even thinking.
The trade-focused school has classes where these students were able to design, print, and cut the picture frames and plaques for the carnival.
This partnership was an important collaboration because it's practice for our students. They manage the order, they manage the invoicing, and so It provides a tangible real-world experience that they can take with them into a different place.
Elevate serves disadvantaged students, and the administrator says that the school and these kinds of projects helps them to break out of the mold and let their creativity and compassion flow. I'm Savannah Hankard, reporting.
Happening right now, Treefort Music Fest. Musicians, programmers, artists, authors, so many showcasing their passions and their work. Jose Alcala finds out how a nonprofit is using the event to make a cultural impact on journalism.
While music is the main focus for Treefort, Voces Internship is a nonprofit organization that invests in the future of Latino journalists by giving Idaho College graduates an opportunity to get a chance in the newsroom and to get a real experience in the field. Voces held a panel discussion at the Idaho State Museum to reach out to the community to inform and expand the influence the program can have. A big area of conversation, the importance of getting Latinos in the newsroom.
We didn't have anybody really representing our stories or that knew the community, telling our stories in a positive light. And so now that if we have more Latinos in journalism, we're going to be able to tell more stories that aren't the typical immigration, agriculture, but the success stories and the wins of our community.
Their passion and efforts keep the organization growing and fulfilling their mission statement, investing in Idaho's future Latino journalists. For more information on the program, go over to our website at idahonews.com and click on the story. I'm Jose Alcala reporting at Storyfort from Treefort 2024.
More trails open up in the Boise foothills now. Some places you can go to explore. And the lessons learned from one of the worst disasters in the Northwest. We look back. CBS 2 looks forward to bringing you the Idaho 4th of July parade this summer. Right now, your chance to submit entries for the Grand Marshal. It's easy to do. Just go to boise4th.com. We look forward to seeing you at the parade this year.
This is CBS 2 News at 10.
New tonight in Malheur County, this man who killed a Nissa Police Department last April pleading guilty. Rene Castro pled guilty to the aggravated murder of Joseph Johnson, a Nissa Police Department reserve officer. His expected sentence, life in prison with the possibility of parole after a minimum of 30 years. We'll bring you the decision from the April 5th hearing. Boeing reporting massive loss in the first quarter following the January 5th Alaska Airlines door plug blowout over Portland. The commercial airplane unit's operating profit margin plunging to negative 20%. 737 MAX production slowing since that happening. Part of the losses, compensation to airlines owning the MAX 9s. They were grounded for 3 weeks. Electronic waste growing to record levels, expanding 5 times faster than rates of recycling. In 2022, 62 million metric tons of electric waste, or e-waste, an 82% increase since 2010, enough to fill more than 1.5 million 40-ton trucks. A lot of it contains toxic and dangerous substances like mercury and lead. This number and all the information coming from a new United Nations report. Oregon getting $38 million to help the communities there deal with wildfires. The U.S. Department of Agriculture wants to reduce threat and preserve natural areas and infrastructure. The money from the Inflation Reduction Act and bipartisan infrastructure law going to 3 designated areas. A state senator says the risk reduction program will help with better management of the forest and fund firefighters.
That we really have a wildfire strategy using the best science and the best resources available.
He says the real work happening on the ground should start this coming year. Spring is here officially, right? We're in day 2, and Bridge to Rivers opening all trails because of it. The west side of Ridgecrest, Bucktail, 2 Points, the north side of Who Now Loop, and many more. You've got the full list on idahonews.com. The trails are in much better shape than in previous years. And Roland, this is a pretty good week to get out there and go for a trail hike.
Yeah, you have at least through Friday, but then once we get into the weekend, things are going to start changing. Bird's eye view, the weather folks did a little snow assessment on the top of Squaw Butte. You can see a little bit of snow still on the north-facing slopes. But what's interesting to note is that I think by the end of the weekend, we're going to start seeing snow accumulating on this and other mountains across much of western Idaho once again as the storm track is set to come back into the region. That means the blue sky scenario that we've been seeing for the last 7 or 10 days or so, it's going to go away. In fact, we're already starting to get some cloud cover as we speak. All right, so that's the way it looked from the air today. Here's what's happening on the ground. Today's high was 2 degrees shy of tying the record of 74 degrees set back in 1877. And we were 15 degrees above the average of 57 degrees. We're not supposed to be in the 70s for this long this time of the year. This is still typically supposed to be a cool month. But look at what's going on. There's a sight for sore eyes. It's not very impressive, but it's a weak front that's going to generate a couple of showers up around New Meadows, maybe around Long Valley tonight. But for the most part, this is just going to trigger the onset of what will be a cooling trend that moves in tomorrow. Tomorrow's high not in the low 70s, but in the low 60s. Then back up to almost 70 degrees on Friday, ahead of a stronger trough of low pressure that comes in that will take our temperatures down into the low 50s by the 1st of next week. So definitely a change is on the way. There's the cloud cover. There's the high pressure ridge, which is now starting to weaken, fade away. It allows the opening for these systems, these fronts, to come in from the Pacific Ocean. But the models are showing a stronger and a more significant cold front moves into the northwestern part of the country on Saturday and on Sunday. And with it, we'll see the return of the moisture and the cooler conditions. So with the futurecast, let's take a look at what happens tomorrow. That front, as it passes by in the morning, this model wants to trigger maybe a couple of little light sprinkles in the morning, right around the morning commute. But for the most part, I think tomorrow is going to be a nice sunny to partly cloudy day. We'll definitely see a little more cloud cover than we have in days past. Then on Friday, look at the increasing clouds in advance of the stronger trough of low pressure that moves in on Saturday. So overall, next 2 days, nice, mild mix of sun and clouds, scattered showers on Saturday, spotty showers on Sunday, then rain on Monday, rain again on Wednesday, and the mountains will see snow. A few showers in the morning tomorrow, then partly cloudy on Friday, rain, snow showers on Saturday, with periods of snow on again, off again Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Friday marks 10 years since the worst landslide disaster in U.S. history, about 55 miles northeast of Seattle in Oso, after weeks of rain. The mountain slide collapsing, sending 19 million tons of sand, sediment, and timber, all barreling toward a subdivision, burying the nearby highway in 20 feet of debris, killing 43 people, 9 survivors. Coming up, the update to the Children's Museum and when you can go check out the results of millions in investments.
This is CBS 2 News at 10.
For the first time ever, the U.S. not ranked in the top 20 happiest countries. Coming in at number 23, people here younger than 30, a lot less happier than those over the age of 60. Finland's the happiest country for the 7th straight year. Denmark, 2nd place.
Leaders in Learning is sponsored by CapEd Credit Union.
The Children's Museum of Idaho almost done with their $2 million renovation. The expansion adds 4,000 square feet, space for a planetarium, and 5 exhibit galleries, all hands-on and immersive, allowing young minds to learn through play. It's open 7 days a week. The planetarium opens April 1st. To check out more information about it, go to our website and click on the Leaders in Learning tab. And we are so thankful for all of those leaders and educators across the Treasure Valley helping kids grow. If you know of a leader educator doing something great to teach kids, send us an email about it, leadersinlearning@KBOI2.com. So coming up, the produce most covered in pesticides. A new report offers insight into the struggle the 7 million Americans living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers face. The Alzheimer's Association says 70% of them caregivers say coordinating treatment for their loved ones is stressful. The healthcare professionals who help them agree. 60% believe caregivers don't get the help they need. The Alzheimer's Association pushing for earlier detection, diagnosis, and treatment for early stage dementia. The cost of care for these patients expected to rise $15 billion this year compared to last. A new report highlights which foods have the most pesticides. 95% of non-organic strawberries, leafy greens, grapes, peaches, and pears contain pesticides. Nectarines, apples, bell and hot peppers, cherries, berries, and green beans round out the list for the most contaminated. A majority of this testing done by the Department of Agriculture and other government agencies. Pesticides are linked to preterm births and heart disease, cancer, and other disorders. Chips Ahoy changing its chocolate chips, but they say it'll be better, adding more cocoa and vanilla extract to the recipe. The company says they looked at 60 different recipes before settling on this one. Amazon having its first ever spring sale. It's like Prime Day, up to half off on spring fashion, fitness products, cleaning, yard work items, Amazon devices. You don't have to be a Prime member for this sale, but if you are, you get exclusive deals. The 6-day sale is now through the 25th. With so many streaming options, a new report finds households subscribing spend $61 a month on average for 4 devices, or 4 services rather, $13 more than last year. Nearly half of those say they would cancel even their favorite if it went up $5 a month. Fitness personality Richard Simmons diagnosed with skin cancer. Not saying when, but he says he did go to a specialist twice to remove the cancer cells. He says he's been asked to return, but not why. Ending this post with "to be continued." You may remember just recently he posted something saying he's dying and then following up saying, well, that's because really everyone's dying. I'm not actually dying. And Chiefs star Travis Kelce reportedly in talks to host a reboot of the game Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader to stream on Amazon Prime. The show starting with Jeff Foxworthy back in 2007 till 2011, then rebooted by Fox in 2015, Nickelodeon in 2019. Adults trying to answer questions from a 5th grade textbook with the help of 5th graders. But Kelce's reboot would have celebrities instead of kids. I don't know if that would be as entertaining. For the second year in a row, French Bulldog at the top of the most popular dog breed list in the U.S. The American Kennel Club uses registration statistics of purebreds to make their rankings. They say Frenchies are playful, smart, and adaptable. The Labrador Retriever claiming that top spot for 31 years before the French Bulldog came along, taking that coveted position 2022. Labs are now number 2 as well, pushing them even further to number 3, Golden Retrievers, then German Shepherds and Poodles. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to stick around with us on Idaho News and also our CBS 2 mobile app throughout the night for any updates, and waking up with us tomorrow morning at 5 for the latest on all the developing news we've been following today. Have a good night.
KBOI. And for news and information 24 hours a day, click on idahonews.com. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is up next. And watch for our next local newscast tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. Connect with CBS 2 for local news and weather on idahonews.com.